So it's pretty interesting to see the way that the police force was operating in Korea at the time, and the performances in that. To play stupid is very difficult, and play it funny is really difficult. So hello, I'm Blaine Fuller. I come from LA, and I'm talking about movies today, Korean movies, because Korea is going through a renaissance of film here. Some of the best films in the world are coming out of Korea, so I thought I'd talk a little bit more about them. I watch movies extremely frequently. I went through periods of my life where I would watch 3 to 4 movies a day, and my parents had to cut the cord, because I wouldn't go outside. Yes, I try to stay up to date with what's going on in Korea. I think it's important to be aware of international cinema when you're a filmmaker. Like myself, I've made a few films this year, and I'm looking to make another one in Taipei soon. But Korean films, especially in the last decade or so, have been really nice. I don't know what's going on here, but Korea has stepped up their game and surpassed pretty much every other country, maybe even America, in terms of quality of content and film. I think that there are really original ideas coming out of Korea and things that get me excited. I want to talk about my top 5 favorite Korean films. Number 1 is The Handmaiden. That's Park Chan-wook. Forgive me, Park Chan-woo. I can't say your name too well, but I'm practicing. A lot of good films made by this director, but The Handmaiden is by far the best, and the best Korean film, in my opinion. I went and saw it in a movie theater in Orange County, California, the week that it came out in America. But the film is just upending you over and over again. You can't be more surprised. You think that it's how could he do it again, and it happens again. It's the ending is just so perverted, and I'm a big pervert, so I loved it.
Why did you watch that movie? What was the reason?
Well, I watched the film because I'm a fan of the director, Park Chan-wook. I'm a big fan of Park Chan-wook, and it's partially because of Old Boy, of course. It's a real popular film internationally. But the reason why I went and saw The Handmaiden was because of Old Boy, and The Handmaiden, you could tell that it's just gonna be a banger. The casting was great, and I was so excited about that film. I remember reading an interview that he had done about the camera that they're using. It was years ago, though, and I wanted to replicate that look in a film of my own. So I tested those lenses and that camera. Very expensive stuff. I couldn't afford it. Next time. Number 2 on my list is Memories of Murder. That's Bong, and he does it again. This one is on a tone very similar to Fargo or the Coen brothers, It's a dark comedy, really funny stuff, really disturbing at the same time. It's a unique tone that's really difficult to achieve, and that has to rely on the acting and the performances in that. To play stupid is very difficult, and play it funny is really difficult. So I don't know the actor's name, but it was really well acted. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I love Memories of Murder because it's sexy, it's violent, and it was kind of interesting seeing a different part of Korea, not in Seoul, and years ago. I think it does take place in like the 60s or something, right? So it's pretty interesting to see the way that the police force was operating in Korea at the time, because I understand that economy was not nearly where it is today. So they had to rely on old technology and the way that they are fingerprinting, and there's no DNA to be able to figure out this case. And I guess the laws are very different in Korea at the time, and comparatively to America, where they are exploiting the retarded kid, right, to make him confess. I don't know if you can get away with that in America right now. They're pretty sensitive to every group. You can't be making fun of anybody. I don't know if he's making fun of anyone, but being exploitative like that is risky territory. I love that Korea can continue to get away with that kind of thing, whereas in America, we're really stuck. All we can do is make Star Wars movies over and over again. What a bore. But I want to talk about the title of Memories of Murder, and I know that Bong has talked about it himself too in past interviews, but the alliteration of Memories of Murder is really beautiful. Thinking about what the title means is really interesting. It's like poetry. Number 3 is The Yellow Sea by Nihonjin. Nihonjin?
No, not Hoon-jin.
Na
This must be
Hoon-ji.
careful. You know what's going on in Korea right now?
It's a great film, and I got on a kick on this director where his last film came out maybe 3 years ago, and in preparation I watched Chaser and The Yellow Sea. All three of his films are really great. I think that I'm just waiting around for his next film. I'm sure everybody is. I'm really curious to know what he's doing. So looking forward to the next one. The Yellow Sea, though, it's so tense the whole way through. It was a really inspiring film for me, thinking about a guy leaving his home to another country to make money to murder somebody, to slip in and out of another country. It had me thinking about my own life in a lot of ways, thinking about the extent that people will go to, or myself, to survive. Number 4, Chaser. It's the same director, and this film is maybe a little bit easier to digest for an audience. It's always fun, a cat and mouse story, especially when you can get the character you're rooting for to be running away from and being chased. In films, it's easier to get the protagonist to chase. There's the scene where they're outside of the house, and I think his phone goes off, and he's being chased up the hill. That scene sticks out in my mind as being one of the most tense scenes I've seen in a Korean film. Really? I didn't know that. So I guess it's based on a true story as well, which I didn't know before today. That's interesting. It makes me want to watch the film again as well. I should. These are my favorite Korean films, and I recommend them to all my friends and family at home, especially my cinephile friends. I've got a lot of friends in the film industry, and we talk about Korea and Korean films a lot, but frequently they haven't seen as many as I have, so I'm always recommending Korean movies. Number 5, Parasite. I've talked at length about Parasite today in another video. Maybe you want to check that one out. Nahonjin is on the list twice, Bong's on the list twice, and Park Chan-woo is only on the list once, but he's probably made more films. But these are my favorite films, and I'm not taking it back. I'm sorry. These are my top 5. I'm not changing it. There are a lot of films I'm sure people are frustrated that I left off the list, like Train to Busan or I Saw the Devil. So yeah, there's a lot of good films, and I was forced to make a list of 5. So that's my 5, and I hope you also appreciate these films. Please make recommendations to me in the comments, and like, subscribe, and share the video. And let's cheers to more great Korean cinema. Thank you.